Okay, I believe this will be the final in the series of navigating through the sharp notes. This will probably be the last one for right now, where we're going to review everything that has been done and gain full confidence that we can do whatever needs to be done from now on, as it pertains to being able to go through all of the, you see, you got 12 notes in all. If you go from A and you go through all of the sharp, all of the notes and the sharp notes, and you end up back at A again, you're gonna have 12 notes, and then A will be like the 13th note, which is really the octave, okay? And we have been in this process, I've really been taking you through different skills in the skill set of being able to navigate through these notes. I've been taking you through slowly, moving from a note to the note above. Whether it's, so basically you can go up one note at a time, or you could go down one note at a time, see? But it just depends on where you are. It can get confusing, so you gotta slow down and just really practice this until it gets easy. It's not that it's inherently hard, it's just you need to get used to it. Understand? And so what happens, right? This is what I do. It's a snowstorm out here today. Don't film and drive, kids. Yeah, let me free up my hands because it's a little wild out here this morning. You can go up one if you're starting on the natural note or just the letter, right? Like letter A, note A. And to go, if you go up by one note, you're going to end up on the A sharp. And if you're starting on a sharp, say you're starting on C sharp, when you go up by one note by a half step, you're gonna go from that sharp note to the next letter, or the unaltered letter, D, right? C sharp to D. So we can practice little things like, okay, what's the note that's above D? It's D sharp, right? And then we could say, okay, well, what's the note above D sharp? And that will be E, okay? So like that. And then we practice going down by a note. So what's the note below F sharp? Well, if you go down from an F sharp, you're gonna land on the F of itself, okay? We know that we have B and C don't have a sharp between, and we know that E and F don't have a sharp between. And there's really one more combination or permutation, whatever you call it. I can't remember. Like, it's been since high school. Like a different variant, right? Another way that you can do, which is where if you start on a note and you go down by one, where does that leave you? So if I'm on D and I'm using sharps, okay? We'll go through all of these with flats, and then we'll learn how to shift modes between sharps, you know, thinking in terms of sharps or flats, because you need to be able to do both to function in every type of key that we will be playing in or understanding music in. So I haven't discussed these topics yet too much, but we're getting to it and we'll build confidence. But if I'm starting on the note D and I go down one note, well, the letter below D is C, right? But there's a note between C and D. So if I go down from D, I'm gonna land on C sharp. Just like if I go up from C sharp, I'll end up on D. If I go down from the note G, if I go down by one note, it's going to be an F sharp. Just 1 second here. Just 1 second. I had to go to a customer. This, you know, she's an old lady, and it's very slippery out here today. I don't want her to fall. Anyway, if you go down from the letter below G is F, right? But between F and G, there's a sharp, F sharp. So we can practice doing drills where we, I'm not gonna do a lot of this in this video. I'll double back. I'm gonna do a lot of these drills, but I just gotta lay out the foundations first, and then I'll come back and I'll do drills in the future, or we'll constantly have to practice these things. But if I pick a note and I go down, I'm gonna end up on a sharp. Okay, if I pick a regular letter and I go down, I'm gonna end up on the sharp of the letter before it. So the note before A, if I go down by 1/2 step, I'm gonna be between G and A. The G from the octave below. So I'm gonna be between G and A, and the note is going to be G sharp. Okay? One thing I really wanted to start getting under our belt from today is the idea of just being able to go up or down at will through all of the notes. And so really you're going through every single note. Technically, if you use every single note, they call this the chromatic scale. Chromatic. Chroma means like color. Chromatic scale, my understanding is like, it's like, listen, you're using all of the colors. Every single note has its own color because of something called relative pitch. Relative pitch is when I had told you that intervals, when you have two notes playing at the same time or close to in time to each other, that they sort of play off or rub against each other in a certain way. They're both of the notes are vibrating, right? Or perhaps you have more than two notes, but they're vibrating either simultaneously or they're vibrating the way they feel. But like you play one, then you play another one right after, and that makes you feel a certain way. But really, that understanding of that, it's really harmony, which is created by relative pitches, or the distance between pitches is what creates this dynamic. Okay? So if I'm using every note, I'm using every color, every available feeling, if you will, in the context. So this is the way I think about it anyway. It's every color. It's the chromatic, all of the colors. See? The chromatic scale, or all 12 notes. A scale is you taking these notes and selecting some of them. Depending on which ones you select will determine what scale you're using. And the scale you're using will determine the key that you're in. Again, just little previews of stuff that's to come that I'll be getting into in a more involved way. But this is how it works. So if I'm using every single color or every single tone, every single note, then it's the chromatic or the color scale, okay? All the colors. Now, that's the way I think about it anyway. I didn't really learn this anywhere that I can recall. Okay, so now we have here, we're gonna go through all of the notes. We're gonna go through all of the notes. If I start with the letter A, right? And I go up by one note, what's that gonna be? It's gonna be A sharp. And so what we're gonna do, we already have the skills, we've been building the skills of being able to go up by one note and up by one note, right? And we have the skills of being able to go down by one note and down by one note. So what you can start to do is practice going up and down through all of the notes. So if I start on A, the note above A, half step up, A sharp. What's half a step above A sharp? The next letter, right? B. I'm gonna go through this a little quick for the sake of the time of the video, but understand that, like, if you can't just go like this, don't get discouraged. It's just you need more time going back to all the basics that I put in the other videos. You can go back and practice, and I will be doing more practice in the future. We're finding ways to create a dynamic where you can go through these drills. All right. You will be able to learn. You just got to keep showing up and you got to be determined. You got to keep, not giving up. That's all it is. If you keep doing this, it's going to come together for you. That I can assure you. It's not that it's too hard. It's that it takes a lot of repetitions. Just kind of like memorizing, your times tables and stuff like that. I don't know, I got one of these cars that, will lock up your wheels if you're about to hit something, and there's nothing behind me, but it just locked up, so I apologize for that. It's freaking out because it's nasty weather out here. But anyhow, don't you find it interesting? I don't know if you've noticed this phenomenon, but I've always noticed it where I'm from anyway. When the weather's crazy, everybody wants to be out here. Everybody wants to be out here. And they're driving crazy too. Like, if it was dry and clear, they want to drive this aggressive, but they're driving crazy because it's like a thrill. Oh, maybe I'll crash today. Thrilling. How thrilling and exciting. I don't know, but people, they have their ways like this. It's like people are weird creatures. So I'm gonna go nice and smooth through all of the notes to show what I mean, and just understand that if you can't do it yet, you will be able to. You'll be able to do what I'm doing right now, right? I'm just gonna go through all the notes. A, and counting up the note above A, A sharp. The note above A sharp is B. The note above B, there's no B sharp, so the note above B is C. Note above C is C sharp, right? But I don't want to say the note above, the note above, the note above, like every time, right? So I'm just going to practice. I'm going to say a note, and then I'm going to say the note that's above it. Then I'm going to say the note that's above it. I'm going to start at A and go through all of the notes until I get back at A. And this is the chromatic scale. Fancy way of explaining it, right? Of like just saying that you're using all the notes. A. I'm going up, right? Half step each time. A. A sharp. B. C. C sharp. D. D sharp. E. F. F sharp. G. G sharp. A. So I went through all of the notes. Then I can use the skill set of counting down. If I'm going from A down one note, it's going to be G sharp. And then below G sharp will be G, like this, right? And I could go all the way down. And these are the two skills that you want to be fluent in time. Going up through the notes, going down. Okay? So let's go from A, and we're gonna go down using the sharps, back down to A again. A, G sharp, G, F sharp, F, E, no sharp between E and F, D sharp, D, C sharp, C, B, A sharp, A. And so going up is called ascending, and when you're going down backwards like that, it's called descending. Everything in music theory is not really that complicated. It's just little pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that you're putting together, and you got to give yourself time. You got to be patient. So I'm just introducing this here. I'm going to end the video here, but I'll be following up with more of this. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do this again with the sharp. I'm not done yet with this, but I'll come back and do the same with flats, because these sharp notes, remember, they're the same thing as flats, but just with a second name. There's two names for the same notes. And so you got to be able to do this with the sharps and the flats, going through all of the notes. Once you're strong with this, then everything else is going to rely, like when you start to learn scales and more advanced theory concepts, you're going to be able to access this skill set of being able to navigate through the note. You need to be able to do this in order to understand stuff. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself time. It's not a race so much to do it, to conquer it fast. It's more of a challenge of, can I be consistent and keep showing up and keep practicing until it's easy to me. And once it's easy to you, I've done my job. But anyway, I hope you have peace in your day, and I will see you in the next one.